prodigy, prodigy. I am an anomaly, modestly. Gotta be, definitely not probably. Don't bother me. You wanna be this chic, this sleek. I'm a fashion magazine.
Well, our first impressions is that it's hot and humid.
Oh, and thanks to Safety Wing for partnering with us on this video.
So after spending 10 months in Mexico,
Well, not really spending 10 months because we came home for several months.
but we have been doing this Pan-American journey, driving down, spent a lot of time in Mexico.
A lot of time in Mexico.
A lot of time. And we finally crossed the Belizean border.
Happy 2025, everyone. We are currently outside of Chedraui, which is a grocery store here in Mexico. We are maybe 10 kilometers away from the Belize border. We're very, very, very close. We just woke up. Sarah went inside to get some groceries. My hair's doing crazy things. We're finally getting ready to get out of Mexico, and we're so excited. So we're gonna explore Belize, see what it's about for a couple of days. It's a really, really small country, and then we will finally make it to Guatemala. Mexico, whether you know it or not, is a huge country, and it took us forever to get through. You can get through faster, but we were really slow, and we were taking our time seeing all of Mexico. The same distance that we have driven in Mexico will essentially be the same distance we're driving now to Panama. So we're getting ready to go through 4 or 5 different countries immediately, like really fast.
So today when we crossed the border, our vehicle was given a 10-year import permit. We got a 10-year temporary import permit into Mexico for our vehicle. But we want to make sure we close it out when we leave, just in case we ever decide to come back to Mexico in a different rig. It's hard to imagine us bringing this rig back to Mexico since we're heading south. I think from there we'll probably either ship back to the US, ship to Europe, ship to Africa, something else. But we could see ourselves maybe getting a second rig in the US one day down the road. And if we want to bring that to Baja in the winter, we cannot bring it to Baja if it still says that we have another vehicle that never left Mexico in those 10 years. So we have to make sure we close that out today. Not everybody does, just because they're kind of like, it's a one and done, especially like Europeans who don't live in America, who it's easy to get back and forth in the US. But for us, we got to close that out. We've got our registration, our title, we've got Kramer's papers, we've got passports, everything we need. I hope kept it in a very good, safe spot the entire time we've been in Mexico. So let's do this. Adios, Mexico.
Belize has this thing where you have to drive your truck through and it sprays chemicals to get bugs off.
It's fumigation.
It's fumigation on wheels. So it costs 150 Mexican pesos or $15 US.
No, 15 Belizean.
Or 15,
750
yeah, so
US.
750 US to go through this, but it is mandatory. So since we have this truck, we have to go through this. Is your window up?
Yeah. That seems thorough. Whatever. We've only had to do that one other time, and that was in Baja. And it was like through like an agricultural area where they did like a lot of strawberry farming. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. Maybe it's just like pest control. I don't know. But here we are. Hi.
Tinky, you better make sure you can tell me good morning. You better make sure you say morning. Morning.
Hey.
Morning.
He's smiling.
Yeah, he's always smiling. Always smiling.
That's your passport, guys?
Oh, yeah.
What's the name of the dog?
Kramer.
Kramer?
Yeah.
All right. Kramer's a Belizean now.
He is.
Oh yeah. Whoa. Back up.
Watch out, Kramer.
Back up.
Because I might think you're a creamer. I'll put you in a coffee.
Welcome in.
We want to bow on the This job, man. You tore the space for this job. You're out there on wood, man. Only thing we can't get nobody trouble. This guy, I go, I take care of it. That's it. Nice. Yes. Tight, man. What? Yeah, I'm body for that. Kramer, you're hitting that? What's the grade? You smoke.
He's ready to get to the beach and play ball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You want to eat? All right, come on.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome.
Get up there.
Right side of the road, man.
Go. So
Wait.
embarrassing.
I wasn't expecting Belize to look so Caribbean so fast.
It did. The building styles and everything, like suddenly the homes were very like colorful like you'd see in the Caribbean. The accents are very Caribbean sounding. It just is a totally different feel than Mexico.
Maybe you don't know this, but the primary language here in Belize is English. And after trying to speak Spanish for the last several months and crossing the border, it was sort of weird for us to hear English.
They didn't sound Jamaican or Bohemian. Like
They sounded Belizean.
they sounded Belizean.
And we will say that we heard a lot of curse words at a basketball court, and it was very pleasant to hear the curse word. Like they pronounced.
sounded happy.
Yeah, they sounded happy when they called people some names.
It might be like the Caribbean, all the different Caribbean accents might be the friendliest English accent.
So when you think of Belize, you probably think of beaches. You probably think of the jungle and animals, and that is something that they're so very proud of. Is all of the tropical animals that live here.
Jungle life, am I right? After 10 months, we finally get to add a new sticker to the back of our truck. Today we are adding Belize. Yay! We loved Mexico, but we are excited to be somewhere different. That's where it's gonna go. Ta-da! Yesterday we crossed over the border from Mexico to Belize. So once we crossed the border, we ran a couple errands and then we drove to Crooked Tree Wildlife Sanctuary, which is where we camped last night. And that's where we're at right now. It's a beautiful little spot. Unfortunately, the spot that we were supposed to camp in, this whole area sort of had a bad flood over the winter. And so they're still working on like cleaning everything up, and it's still beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous, but the other campsites are still underwater. So we still had a great spot right here. It was level, it was flat, it was beautiful. This nature preserve is most famous for wildlife. Obviously, it's a wildlife preserve. Most famous for birds, and I'm getting into birding because I'm in my 30s now, and I had so much fun birding last night. We got some pretty pictures of the birds, and I was recording their sounds and logging them in the Merlin app, and Chris was making fun of me, but I had a lot of fun. So this is a really pretty little... Aren't they pretty? I don't know what that is. Okay, I can already tell I'm sweating again. We're gonna get in the car and go to the next place because it's a good time of day to go drive.
Okay, really quick, we need to talk about Safety Wing.
So this week is the perfect week to be sponsored by Safety Wing because I actually had a severe bout of food poisoning this week, which landed me in a walk-in clinic at 2 a.m. Oh my God, I've got a taxi out here.
And I got a 3rd-degree burn on my leg. All of this we're going to talk about in a later upcoming video, but just know that we had to use Safety Wing this week.
And they came through for us. So I was able to go get hooked up to an IV, got lots of meds, And I was better within a few days. Thank you, Safety Wing. So if you don't already have your own travel insurance, be sure to go sign up for a free account today. That way you can go ahead and have the account. So if you ever travel internationally and you need travel medical insurance, you're set. You can just schedule when you want your insurance to start by the month, and voila. Is that they now have Nomad 3.0, which is a longer term travel and medical insurance for digital nomads like us.
Pause and start it whenever you want to. So just click the link down below. It's free to sign up. We encourage you to sign up. That way you have the account, and then when you do decide to come to Guatemala or Mexico or France or wherever you're going, you have travel medical insurance.
Thank you, Safety Wing. All right, back to the video. Coming into Belize, we had pretty low expectations because a lot of overlanders told us you don't need to spend that long in Belize. So we kind of in our minds thought we weren't going to be here that long. And then instantly we crossed the border, and after our first night in the wildlife sanctuary, we said, okay, we need to spend longer here. We instantly loved it. So we're at Cajal Pech, which is a ruin here in San Ignacio. It's not the most famous of the two different ones that are in the area. There's probably more than that, but there's two main ones that people go to. We chose this one because it was closer to town. It doesn't take as long to see it, and since it's going to be hot today, we needed to do it first thing in the morning because we're leaving Kramer in the truck, and it wasn't going to take as long to do it. So anyway, here we are. But I'm glad we did this because it's really quiet. One really cool thing about the ruins in Belize that is not true of Mexico, at least in our experiences, is that you can still climb on the ruins. In Mexico, in the last few years, they've kind of said, no more climbing on them, at least the ones that we visited. This one, there's no signs not to do anything, and I read online you were allowed to climb them. So we're just kind of climbing all over these pyramids and ruins, and it's beautiful. It's kind of cool because these are, so ancient that the earth is kind of reclaimed. So there's trees growing out of the pyramids, and it just adds this whole jungly, mysterious. You could tell somebody probably just stumbled across it one day. You could just imagine them coming up here and being whoa, there's a whole city up there. I don't know. It looks like an Indiana Jones set, doesn't it? It does. Chris, that made him smile. He loves those movies. You proud of me?
I am. Word of advice. When you're coming here, don't do leg day the day before. My legs are burning.
America is big on safety precautions. The rest of the world, not so much. It's sort of a survival of the fittest. If you're smart and don't fall off, you'll survive and live. But things like this will easily take you out. Just be careful. If you have kids, if you're a little uneven on your feet, watch your step. Speaking to you, because I know you and you have you're a trip hazard. I love you. It opens at 8 a.m. We got here at 8:20, and there was only one other couple who was also American here. And I think they just left. And so we have this entire place to ourselves, with the exception of the gardeners. They're still cleaning up the grounds. Chris said on the way, he's like, how do we always time it that there's always somebody blowing leaves or a lawnmower or something in our videos? I said, it's because we always get places when they first open, so there's lighter crowds, so naturally that happens. But this is really neat. I mean, not only are we able to climb on all the ruins and just sort of walk inside and really truly explore it, but we have it to ourselves. I honestly thought there were going to be tour buses full of people coming up. Very well done. I will say there's not a lot of signage compared to Chichen Itza and all these other ones. There's just not that much signage, but kind of let your imagination figure it out, and I'm going to go read about it later. I'm not sure if the lack of signage is because they just haven't put it in, or if it's because so much of what happened here is a mystery. I'm not sure, because everything is just sort of labeled Plaza A, Plaza B, Plaza C. They're just labeled by letter. So I'm gonna go back up to the map and see what I can figure out. But for the most part, it's sort of just explore on your own, which is kind of cool.
It goes with white, swimming by the pond, cold like ice, frozen to the core. I left my mind standing by the clothes.
So tonight we're staying at Agua Clara, which is this kind of open field sort of campground. People come here and have fun, family outings, different things. But the cool thing is that they have this river that runs through and they take you tubing down the river. But tonight we are staying here and it is so quiet and peaceful, and we can already feel the difference in temperature because of this river.
There we go. That's it. Does that feel better? I think it was about 90 today, and the humidity was around 70%. So you're doing glowy, sweaty. He's been a trooper. I think I need to cut his hair tonight, though. Kramer, you want to get a haircut? He's so dirty.
In all honesty, we weren't planning on visiting Belize City. Most of the locals, every time we talk to somebody, they're like, don't go to the city, don't go to the city. It's not that it's even a bad city. It's more like there's not a lot happening in Belize. It's just a city.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably just, it's a really pretty house. I'd say it's really, I don't know, it's a very real city where people are working and living here, but for tourists, there's not so much to do. I'd say the biggest appeals in Belize are going to be the islands, the reefs, the jungles, the ruins. Everybody told us that. Expats and locals alike said, if you're Belize and you're on a limited time, skip the city and go elsewhere. So we weren't going to come here, but I guess we should stop here and do this real fast. So if you follow on Instagram, you probably know that Kramer, our dog, who has traveled with us for 7 years now, got really sick last night. Really, really sick. It came on sudden. It was a federal holiday here. We were an hour and a half from the city, in the middle of nowhere, Belize, down a dirt road, out. We were out of here. And he got really sick, really, really scary sick. And all the vets were closed because it's a federal holiday. And thankfully we found, we met this couple at a coffee shop just a few days earlier who gave us their phone number. They're like, call if you need anything while you're in Belize. And we ended up having to do that. Long story shortish, they helped us find a vet in Belize City. So we had to hop in the truck and just run to Belize City to get Kramer to the vet, because it was the only one in the entire country that we could find that was going to see him on a holiday. But he had to stay overnight. He was not doing great. He's doing a lot better now, which is the only reason why I'm able to talk on camera, because we've just been so stressed and so tired. I've got bags under my eyes, so I'm going to leave the sunglasses on today. But he is doing a lot better. So as we speak, they are just waiting on blood work to come back. He's not with us. He's still at the vet. They're taking very good care of him. Beyond thankful that we found a good vet. It's been, it would have been much more nerve-wracking had we not found somebody good. But they're taking great care of him. He is just 5 minutes from us. So while Kramer is at the vet and being loved on, he is in a much cooler environment than we are, sweating it out right now. We're gonna go get some rice and beans, or beans and rice. Believe it or not, those are two different dishes in Belize. So I don't know which one we're going to get. It depends on what they're serving, if they have both. But we're gonna go get some Belizean food now that we can kind of breathe for a second, since Kramer's doing so much better. We saw him this morning and he was much more himself.
Hey, Brian. Yeah. Brian.
Hey, buddy. Hi. What's up? Careful. He's so loud. I'm so sorry. Hey, buddy. Hi. How are you? Hi. Okay, come here.
The one thing we've noticed in Belize is that a lot of places are grab and go. Whereas in Mexico, when you buy street food, you just kind of sit there at the stand. Usually there's stools, or you just stand there. Here, they have to-go boxes for pretty much everything. So, in places like this, there was a line. Looks good, to-go only. Thankfully, we bring our own dining room with us. We went up and we asked for rice and beans, and she's like, we're out of rice and beans, but we have stewed beans and rice, so that'll work too. I'm just hungry. I don't care what it is at this point. I'm really hungry. So we got the boiled chicken, and then we got the rice and the beans and coleslaw, and it looks like a fried plantain. I'm gonna do my best. Belizeans, if you see this video, please help me, but I am 95% certain that rice and beans is where they make it all in one dish, and apparently the secret sauce is coconut milk. Whereas beans and rice, it's also called stewed beans and rice, but a lot of people just shorten it to beans and rice. Does that make sense? So there's rice and beans and beans and rice. Beans and rice is what we have today, where they are made separately and they put the beans on top of the rice. I cannot tell you how they taste differently because I have yet to try rice and beans. We're gonna go for some beans and rice right now. We could have split this. This is huge. Oh, that's good. You're gonna like that. That's good. All right, it's just good beans and rice. I haven't even gotten to the chicken yet, but big fan. You can expect no chains or fast food here. We actually met a couple yesterday who told us that the people of Belize, they're just not interested in it. In fact, one fast food chain moved in here. It was Subway, and it didn't even last 2 years is what they told us. So there's no McDonald's, there's no Starbucks. Like when you come here, you get to eat and buy local.
A good rule of thumb, no matter where you're at, go to the markets because they have some of the freshest produce around instead of the grocery stores, and that's exactly what we're doing. So this is a pretty big market. They have a lot of veggies, produce, all that, and then they have a lot of meat shops and then some food stands around. It's still pretty early in the morning. It's around like 9:30 or so, and so shops are just now opening up, but you can just tell by the fruit. Look at this.
You can buy the bananas by the tree, the branch, I guess.
You can just tell, oh, it just looks so good and it tastes so good. Oh, we're gonna find eggs.
So as we were getting our fresh produce here at the market, we saw a little stand that was serving breakfast burritos and pupusas and all the good things from this area of the country. So we stopped. We each had a breakfast burrito, which is really like 2 little burritos each, and then 1 pupusa. It was a cheese pupusa, but the burrito had beans and eggs on it, and then pupusa was just cheese, and they'd give you the spicy sauce and like coleslaw. It looked like coleslaw. I don't know what it was, like cabbage or something. Anyway, all delicious. I think totally paid $11.50 Belizean, which is like $5.75 US for all of that. I'm a happy person.
Anytime somebody has the word pupusa on a board, I will stop.
So Belize did not go as we had hoped or planned with everything with Kramer, and then it was abnormally hot by like 5 or 10 degrees. It was like 90, 93 every day when we were there, and just crazy humid, which, don't get us wrong, we can do humid, but when Kramer's sick and we don't have AC and all the hotels are at peak prices on the island, we sort of had to just cut our losses and say, you know what, we'll come back to Belize one day. For now, we're going on to cooler places in Guatemala.
We had plans to go out to San Pedro and snorkel and do all of this amazing ocean stuff, but sadly, we had to cancel all of that.
Priority for right now in Belize is getting Kramer somewhere cooler because he is recuperating. It's gonna take him a little bit to get back to where he was, and he needs to be somewhere a little bit cooler so he's not just more stressed and anxious and his body's working harder than it needs to. So we're gonna go to Antigua. We're gonna kind of cross the border into Guatemala, spend 1 day in Flores, and then I think the plan is just to spend some time in Antigua where it is up in the mountains and should be 20 degrees cooler.
But Belize, we will be back.
We'll be back.
There are times when it just doesn't make no sense. But you have been good to me, you have been good to me time and again.